very much. And now, our next performer is not announced before the break, but is coming up. We have written notes to prove it. Sean Davis is an Iraqi war veteran who received a Purple Heart after being wounded in combat. He's an artist and author of The Wax Bullet War. His essays have and will appear in The Big Smoke, Human the Movie, and the upcoming Forest Press anthology, Weird City. His name will be on the ballot this year because he's also running for mayor of Portland.
And I'm going to give it to you. You got to stump wherever you can when you're running against these guys. So yeah, I'm running for the mayor of Portland. My competition, Ted Wheeler, he's already raised $250,000 for a mayoral race. He's a politician. He went to Stanford and Harvard. The other guy that I'm running against, the two big guys, Princeton, economist, and he's running as a champion of the people. So, and I say this, but I really believe that the people that lead us should truly represent the people who live here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And since I've announced, I'm getting a lot of support. I mean, incredible support. Support that I didn't imagine ever having. But I've also got some cynics emailing me from the inside and saying, like, listen, why are you going for mayor? You don't know anything about the political system. You have to pay your dues. And I would argue that my time spent patrolling in war-torn countries, defending people that are going to the elections, their first democratic election of their lifetime, would be paying those dues. I understand the political system. I know what it's supposed to be. I doubt that. I believe that their political system in their head means I go to an Ivy League college, I come back, and I get the appointed political position that is assigned to me. But I don't believe that. I think that the people, again, I represent us. I'm here. I'm us. So that's my big speech. But if you don't know me, please look up Post 134. I've been doing this for 3 or 4 years. We feed the hungry. We do, homeless and families. We did a food drive. We feed. We clothe the homeless, and they come in every day, and I'm there, and I give them their clothes. And it's you guys that donated all of it. But and we also do blood drives, and we help veterans, and we do monthly groups, and all kinds of good stuff. But I'm here to read a poem. I'm going to read Edgar Allan Poe, but I'm going to try to read a funny thing. And one last thing about the mayoral stuff. The reason why I'm doing it, I had no political aspirations. I never wanted to get into politics. I was really inspired this year, specifically by Bernie. I love him, and it's ironic because I just registered as a Democrat to vote for him, but they told me I have to go register back as independent, so I can't vote in the primary in order to get those votes. But I'm going to be reading. What I love about this city, this town specifically, is that we're here tonight celebrating Edgar Allan Poe's birthday. And we had somebody give a heart away in a jar. we had puppets. And I never saw one hand up any ass. Stuff going on. I'm bringing back the mayor's ball. Clark has something going on. People need to be recognized. At any rate, so I decided to read a piece of Poe stuff that people probably have never read. I don't know if you guys have you ever heard of The Angel of the Odd? No, it's one of his comedy pieces. So you know how Poe's known for his comedy. And I want to read like the first couple of pages, so you guys have to find it and read the rest of it. It was a chilly November afternoon. I had just consummated an unhealthy hearty dinner, of which the dyspeptic truth formed not the least important item, and was sitting alone in the dining room with my feet upon the fender, and at my elbow a small table which had rolled up to the fire, and upon which were some apologies for dessert, with some miscellaneous bottles of wine, spirit, and liqueur. In the morning, I had been reading Glover's Leonidas, Wilkie's Epigoniad, Lamartine's Pilgrimage, Barlow's Columbia, Tuckerman's Sicily, and Griswold's Curiosities. I really confess, therefore, that I now feel a little stupid. I had made efforts to rouse myself by aid of Frigate Lafayette, port wine, and all failing, I betook myself to a stray newspaper in despair. Having carefully perused the column of the House to Let, and the column of Dogs Lost, and then 2 columns of Wives and Apprentices Run Away, I attacked with great resolution the editorial matter, and reading it from beginning to end without understanding a syllable, conceived the possibility of its being Chinese. And so reread it from the end to the beginning, but with no more satisfactory result. I was about throwing away in disgust this folio of 4 pages, happy work which not even poets criticize, when I felt my attention somewhat aroused by the paragraph which followed. The avenues to death are numerous and strange. A London paper mentions the decease of a person from a singular cause. He was playing at Puff the Dart, which is played with a long needle inserted in some worsted and blown at a target through a tin tube. And he placed the needle at the wrong end of the tube and, drawing his breath strongly to puff the dart forward with force, drew the needle into his throat. It entered the lungs and in a few days killed him. And upon seeing this, I fell into a great rage. Without exactly knowing why. This thing, I exclaimed, it is contemptible falsehood, a poor hoax, the lees of invention of some pitiable penny-a-liner, of some wretched concoctor of accidents and cocaine. That's alliteration. These fellows, knowing the extravagant gullibility of the age, set their wits to work in the imagination of improbable possibilities, of odd accidents, as they term them. But to the reflecting intellect, like mine, I added in parentheses, putting my forefinger unconsciously off the side of my nose, to the contemplative understanding, such as I possess, it seems evident at once that the marvelous increase of these late odd accidents is by far the oddest accident of all. For my part, I intend to believe nothing henceforward that has anything of the singular about it. Mein Gott! Then what the fool you bees for that? Replied one of the most remarkable voices I ever heard. And at first I took it for a rumbling in my ears. Such a man sometimes experiences when getting very drunk. But upon second thought I considered the sound as more nearly resembling that which proceeds from an empty barrel beaten with a stick. And, in fact, this I should have concluded it to be, but for the articulation of the syllables and words. I am by no means naturally nervous, and very few glasses of Lafayette, which I sipped, served to embolden me, so that I felt nothing of trepidation, but merely uplifted my eyes with leisurely movement, and looked carefully around the room for the intruder, and I could not, however, perceive anyone at all. "Humph," resumed the voice, as I continued my survey. "You must be so drunk as pig. Then, for not see me and sit here at your side." Whereupon I bethought me of looking immediately before my nose, and there, sure enough, confronting me at the table, sat a personage nondescript, although not altogether undescribable. His body was a windpipe, or a rum puncheon, or something of that character, and had a truly Falstaffian air. In its neither extremities were inserted 2 kegs, which seemed to answer all the purposes of legs, for arms there dangled from the upper portion of the carcass two tolerably long bottles, with the necks outward for hands. And all the head that I saw the monster possessed of was one of those Hessian's canteens, which resembled a large snuff box with a hole in the middle of the lid. This canteen, with its funnel on its top, like a cavalier cap slouched over the eyes, was set on edge upon the puncheon, with the hole towards myself. And through this hole, which seemed puckered up like the mouth of a very precise old maid, the creature was emitting certain rumblings and grumbling noises, which he evidently intended for intelligible talk. "I say," he said, "you must be drunk as pig, for sit there and not see me sit here. I say, you must be bigger fool as the goose, for believe that is print in the print. This is truth, that is every word of it." "Who are you, I pray?" said I with much dignity, although somewhat puzzled. "How did you get here, and what is it that you're talking about?" "As for how I come here," replied the figure, "that is none of your business. As for what I be talking about, I be talking about what I think proper. And as for who I be, why, that is a very thing I come here to let you see for yourself." "You are a drunken vagabond," I said. "I shall ring the bell and order my footman to kick you to the street." "Hey," said the fellow, "oh, that you can't do." "What do you mean, can't do?" "Ring the bell," he replied, attempting a grin with his little villainous mouth. And upon this, I made an effort to get up in order to put my threat into execution, but the ruffian just reached across the table very deliberately and hitting me a tap on the forehead with the neck of one of the long bottles, and he knocked me back to the armchair for which I had half arisen. And I was utterly astounded, and for a moment was quite at a loss what to do. In the meantime, he continued his talk. "You see," he said, "it is the best for sit still. And now you shall know what I be. Look at me. I am the angel of the odd." "And odd enough too," I ventured to reply. "But I was always under the impression that angels had wings." "The wing!" he cried, highly incensed. "What be do with the wing? My God! Do you take me for a chicken?" "Oh, no, I replied, much alarmed. "You are no chicken, certainly not." "Well, then sit still and behave yourself, or I'll rap you again with me fist. It is the chicken with the wing, and the owl with the wing, and the imp with the wing, the angel have no wing, and I am the angel of the odd." "And your business with me at present is?" "My business," ejaculated the thing. "By what a low-bred puppy you must be for to ask a gentleman and an angel about his business." This language was rather more than I could bear, even from an angel. So plucking up courage, I seized the salt cellar which lay within reach and hurled it at the head of the intruder. Either he dodged, however, or my aim was inaccurate, for all I had accomplished was the demolition of the crystal which protected the dial of the clock upon the mantelpiece. And as for the angel, he evinced his sense of my assault by giving me 2 or 3 hard consecutive raps upon the forehead. This reduced me at once to submission. And I am almost ashamed to confess that either through pain or vexation, there came a few tears into my eyes. I'll stop there.